I hit play, and there she was, Emily, my wife, tangled up in a hotel bed with two guys, laughing, moaning, completely lost in it. My stomach twisted, my hands clenched into fists. I wanted to look away, but I couldn't. Click. Another video. Different guy, different place, same betrayal. Click. And then, our bedroom. The bed we shared. The sheets I had just slept on the night before. I felt like throwing up. My head spun. My chest burned with a mix of rage and disbelief. How long had this been going on? How many times had I kissed her, touched her, slept next to her while she was sneaking around behind my back? I slammed the laptop shut, my breath heavy. My pulse pounded in my ears, my vision blurred with fury. And then I heard it. The front door clicked open. She was home. I had 2 seconds to decide what to do. The door creaked open, and I heard the familiar sound of Emily's heels clicking against the hardwood floor. My blood ran cold. She had no idea what I had just seen. I stayed silent, gripping the edge of the desk, so hard my knuckles turned white. My mind was racing. Do I confront her now? Do I wait? Do I act like nothing happened and gather more proof? But the anger inside me was boiling over. There was no waiting. She stepped into the bedroom, humming to herself, tossing her purse on the dresser like it was just another night. Her makeup was flawless, her perfume strong, too strong, like she had just freshened up before coming home. "Hey, babe," she said, running a hand through her hair. "Still up?" I didn't answer. She stopped, finally noticing my expression. Her brows furrowed. "What's wrong?" I exhaled sharply through my nose and opened the laptop. With one click, the video started playing again. The room filled with the sound of her voice, her moans, her gasps of pleasure with another man. Emily froze, her face drained of color. "What the hell is this?" I asked, my voice low, shaking with barely contained rage. She swallowed hard, her hands trembling as she took a step back. I can explain." I shot up from the chair, so fast she flinched. "Explain? What is there to explain, Emily? I watched you multiple times, with different men, in our bed. How long has this been going on?" She opened her mouth, then closed it. Her mind was scrambling for an excuse, a lie, anything to get out of this. It's not what you think," she finally stammered. I let out a cold, humorless laugh. "Not what I think. Emily, I just watched you get ruined by some random guys while I was here like a ing idiot believing in us." Her eyes darted to the laptop screen, then back to me. "It was a mistake," she whispered. "Just a mistake." "A mistake? A mistake is something you do once and regret. This was planned, organized. You recorded it." Her lips parted, but no words came out. Caught, exposed. Then, her expression changed. The panic was gone. Instead, something colder replaced it. A smirk. "You know what? Fine," she said, crossing her arms. "Yeah, I did it. And guess what? I don't regret it." My fists clenched. My breath hitched. Did she just? She stepped closer, tilting her head, eyes narrowing. "You want to know why? Because you're boring, Jake. You're predictable. Same routine, same conversations, same everything. I needed something more." My entire body stiffened. The anger in me reached a level I didn't even know existed. She laughed. "You should see your face right now," she taunted. "What? Did you think we were some perfect couple? That I was loyal?" I took a deep breath, my hands shaking at my sides. She wasn't even sorry. "I gave you everything," I muttered, my voice dangerously low. "Everything." She rolled her eyes. "And I wanted more." I took a step forward, towering over her, my eyes locked onto hers. "Then why the hell did you marry me?" Silence. For the first time, she had nothing to say. I grabbed my phone from the nightstand. "Get out," I said. She scoffed. "Oh, please. I'm not going anywhere. This is my house, too." "Not anymore." I opened my contacts and dialed. She watched me, confusion flickering in her eyes. "Who are you calling?" I smirked. "Your brother." Her face dropped. "No, Jake, stop." She lunged for my phone, but I stepped back, my thumb hovering over the call button. "I heard you, Emily," I said, my voice venomous. "You told him. What was it again?" "Oh, yeah. I'll strip him to the bone if we ever divorce. Her breath hitched. She knew what was coming next. And for the first time that night, she was scared. For the first time that night, Emily looked afraid. Her cocky smirk was gone. Her perfect posture? Gone. She staggered back, eyes locked on my phone like it was a loaded gun. "Jake," she said, forcing a nervous laugh. "You don't want to do this." I tilted my head, watching her panic grow. "Why not? You weren't worried about me when you were screwing around. But now you're scared." She swallowed hard, her breathing uneven. I knew why. Her brother, Ethan, wasn't just family. He was a lawyer, a damn good one, and he hated liars. I hovered my thumb over the call button. "So tell me, Emily, should I let him know what his sweet little sister has been up to?" "Jake, please," she whispered. "Let's just talk about this. You don't have to bring Ethan into it." I narrowed my eyes. "No, because I'm pretty sure you told him you'd strip me to the bone if we ever divorced. You were planning this all along, weren't you?" Her lips parted, guilt flashing across her face. But then like a switch, she snapped. Her fake innocence disappeared. "You know what? Fine," she hissed, crossing her arms. "Yeah, I talked to Ethan. You think I'm just going to let you walk away with everything? I put years into this marriage too, Jake." I scoffed. "Unbelievable. You put years into this?" I growled. "Emily, you spent those years sneaking off to hotel rooms and filming your adventures with strangers. You weren't my wife. You were a damn parasite." Her face twisted with anger. "Oh, grow up, Jake. This isn't some movie where the loyal husband gets his fairy tale revenge. You were never enough for me. I needed excitement, passion." I cut her off, laughing bitterly. "So you found that between the legs of random guys? Classy." Her nostrils flared, but I didn't care. I was done playing nice. "Here's what's going to happen," I said coldly. "You're going to pack your things and get out of my house. Tonight." She laughed. Actually laughed. "You really think you can kick me out?" She smirked. "You're not the only one with a lawyer, Jake. And guess what? Ethan is on my side." That's when I smiled. A slow, knowing smile that made her face fall. "Really?" I asked. "Because I had a little chat with Ethan earlier today, before I even opened your laptop." Her entire body stiffened. "Bullsh*T, she spat. "You're lying." I shrugged. "Believe what you want." But I told him I was thinking about divorce. And do you know what he said? I stepped closer, lowering my voice. He said, "If Emily tries anything dirty, let me know. I'll make sure she gets nothing." Her breath hitched. I saw it, that split second of real fear in her eyes. I leaned in, just enough for her to hear the final blow. "So go ahead, Emily. Try to screw me over. But just remember, Ethan plays to win." Her bottom lip trembled. For the first time that night, I was in control. But I wasn't done yet. I turned back to the laptop, clicking open another file. A text conversation popped up, one between her and some guy named Marcus. "Marcus, can't wait to see you again, babe. That thing you did last time? Insane. Emily, LOL, I know. Jake could never handle me like that." My chest burned, but I forced myself to stay calm. I scrolled down, more texts, more proof. Then I saw something that made my blood freeze. A bank transfer. $10,000. Sent from our joint account to Marcus. My vision blurred with rage. I turned back to her, and this time I didn't hold back. "You gave him our money?" I asked, voice dangerously low. Emily's lips parted, but she had no excuse. I laughed bitterly. "You weren't just cheating, Emily. You were using me to fund your boy toys." Jesus, how deep does this go? Silence. She had nothing left to say. I grabbed my phone again. "Pack your bags. Now." She took a shaky step back. "Jake, please. Don't do this." I hit dial. The phone rang once. Twice. Then Ethan's voice came through. "Jake? What's up?" Emily went pale, and I smiled. "Hey, Ethan, you might want to sit down for this." Emily's face turned as pale as a ghost the second Ethan picked up. I locked eyes with her, my lips curling into a smirk. She knew she had lost control. "Jake!" Ethan's voice came through the phone. "You there?" I took my time answering, watching Emily squirm. "Oh yeah, I'm here," I said, my voice calm, controlled. "I just thought you'd want to hear something interesting." Emily lunged at me, trying to snatch the phone from my hand. I stepped back, shoving her away with one arm. Ah, don't be rude, Emily. Your brother deserves to hear this. Jake, don't, she hissed. Desperate, panicking, which meant I was doing something right. I held the phone closer to my mouth. Ethan, I'm sending you something right now. I'd love your legal opinion on it. I pressed a few buttons, attaching the bank transfer receipt. Sent. Emily froze. We both stared at the screen as the message delivered. Jake, what is this? Ethan asked after a moment. I smiled, glancing at my wife. Oh, just proof that Emily has been using our joint bank account to send money to her little side boy, Marcus. Silence. Then, what the F asterisk? Emily winced, her brother's voice cutting through her like a knife. Ethan, I continued, I also have a few videos here that I think you might find very interesting. Jake, Emily begged, but I ignored her. Videos? Ethan's tone darkened. What kind of videos? I grinned, clicking one open and letting it play just loud enough for Ethan to hear. Emily snapped. She slammed the laptop shut, knocking it off the desk in her panic. Stop it, she shrieked, her voice breaking. You're ruining everything. I looked at her, unimpressed. No, sweetheart. You did that all on your own. Jake, Ethan's voice was sharp. Tell me everything. Now. I turned away from Emily, focusing on the call. It's simple, really. My loving wife here has been screwing around behind my back. Multiple guys, multiple times. Oh, and she recorded it. For memories. I heard Ethan curse under his breath. She also told you that if we ever got divorced, she'd strip me to the bone. That true? Ethan was silent for a moment. Then, she said that. Emily collapsed onto the bed, burying her face in her hands. She knew. She had lost. I pressed on. Because I don't think you're going to like where this is headed, Ethan. But don't worry. I'm giving you the first look at all the evidence before my lawyer gets it. Send it, Ethan said immediately. Every single thing you have. Emily's head shot up. Ethan, you can't do this to me. Are you serious right now? Ethan's voice was filled with rage. Emily, what the hell is wrong with you? You stole from Jake? You lied to me? You're actually this disgusting? Emily's eyes brimmed with tears, but there was no sympathy left in the room. Ethan, please, just let me explain. Explain? Ethan barked a bitter laugh. Explain what? That you're a lying, cheating piece of garbage? That you've been using Jake's money to fund your little side adventures? I sat down on the bed, watching the meltdown unfold. Emily was breaking apart. Ethan, I need you to be on my side, she pleaded. Ethan's response was cold, unforgiving. No, Emily, you're on your own. Silence. I could almost hear her heart shatter. Then Ethan turned his attention back to me. Jake, listen to me. Get her out of the house. Tonight. I'll handle the legal stuff. She gets nothing. She deserves nothing. Emily gasped. I leaned back, smirking, glad we're on the same page. I ended the call and slipped my phone into my pocket. Emily stared at me, tears streaming down her face. Jake, please. Her voice was barely. Emily sat there, stunned, her makeup smudged from the tears she had no right to shed. For the first time since this whole mess started, she looked small, weak, like the weight of her own sins had finally crushed her. I should have felt pity, but I didn't. She had no problem watching me live a lie, no problem laughing at me behind my back, using my money to fund her sick little affairs. And now that she was caught, she wanted mercy. She wasn't getting it. I stepped closer, towering over her. You heard, Ethan, I said coldly. You need to leave. Her lower lip trembled. Jake, please. Just give me a chance to explain. I let out a bitter laugh. Explain? Explain what? That you had no self-control? That you weren't satisfied with the man who gave you everything? That you needed to be with every random guy you could find? She winced at every word, but I didn't care. She deserved to feel this. Jake, it wasn't just about that, she whispered. I narrowed my eyes. Then what the hell was it about? Emily? She swallowed, looking down at her hands. I felt like I was losing myself. I scoffed. So, your solution was to let strangers treat you like a damn plaything? Her nostrils flared, and for a second, the real Emily came back. The one who wasn't crying. The one who thought she could talk her way out of anything. Oh, grow up, Jake, she snapped. Do you really think I'm the only woman who's ever cheated? Women do this all the time. Hell, men do this all the time. My jaw clenched. There it was. No guilt. No remorse. Just excuses. So that makes it okay? I asked, my voice deadly calm. She crossed her arms. It makes me human. I exhaled slowly, forcing myself to stay in control. She wanted to fight. She wanted me to scream, to lash out, because if I lost control, she could play the victim. I wasn't giving her that satisfaction. Instead, I walked to the closet and grabbed one of my duffel bags. What are you doing? She asked. I tossed the bag at her feet. Packing your things. Her eyes widened. Jake, no. You're not serious. I grabbed her wrist. Not hard enough to hurt, but just enough to make her look me in the eyes. I have never been more serious in my life, I said in a low voice. I want you out of this house. Tonight. She gasped, yanking her hand back. You can't do this. This is my home too. Not anymore, I snapped. She shook her head violently, her breathing turning erratic. Jake, I have nowhere to go. I smirked. Guess you should have thought about that before you blew up your entire life. Her chest rose and fell rapidly. She was breaking. Finally. Then, she tried one last trick. She stepped closer, her voice softening. Too soft. Jake, we can fix this, she whispered. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But I still love you. I laughed. Actually laughed. Love me? I echoed. Emily, if this is love, I'd hate to see what hate looks like. She reached for my hand. Jake, don't do this. You're angry, I get it, but we can work through it. Just let's talk. I yanked my hand away. There's nothing left to talk about. Her breathing shuddered. Please, Jake, don't do this. I stared at her for a long moment. Then with an exhale, I leaned in close, and I whispered the last thing she ever wanted to hear. I'll let you decide, Emily, I said softly. You can leave tonight, or I can send every video I found to your family, your friends, your boss. Hell, I'll post them online if I have to. Her face drained of color. She tried to speak, but no words came out. I took a step back. So, what's it going to be? Her hands shook as she reached for the duffel bag. And just like that, she knew she had lost. Emily's hands trembled as she slowly unzipped the duffel bag, her breathing uneven. She was cornered, and she knew it. I stood there, arms crossed, watching as she realized the weight of everything crashing down on her. Every lie, every betrayal, every moment she thought she could get away with, all of it had finally caught up. You're really doing this, she muttered under her breath, stuffing a handful of clothes into the bag. Her voice lacked the usual venom, the smugness she always carried when she thought she had the upper hand. Now, she was nothing more than a pathetic shell of the woman who once looked me in the eyes and said she loved me. You did this to yourself, I replied coldly. You thought you could walk all over me, treat me like a fool, and that I'd just take it. Not anymore. She let out a bitter laugh, shaking her head as she grabbed a pair of jeans from the dresser. You think you're some kind of hero, don't you? Kicking me out like this? I clenched my jaw, my patience wearing thin. A hero? No, but I'm finally acting like a man who refuses to be disrespected. Her hands stilled, gripping the fabric tightly. And what if I refuse to go? She challenged, turning to face me. What if I fight for this house, for my share of everything? I smirked. Then I'll make sure everyone knows what you've done. Your family, your friends, your boss. Hell, even your little boy toys. Let's see how long Marcus sticks around when he realizes you're broke and have nowhere to go. Her eyes flickered with fear, just for a moment. Then, like a cornered animal, she tried one last desperate move. She dropped the clothes, took a slow step toward me, and ran her fingers down my chest. Jake, she purred, her voice suddenly softer. We don't have to end things like this. I stiffened, my entire body recoiling at her touch. She was really trying this? Now, we can start over, she whispered, tilting her head up to look at me. I can be better. You and me, we had something good once. We can have that again. I grabbed her wrist and pulled it away. You must really think I'm stupid. She winced as I let go. It was worth a shot, she muttered, stepping back. That's the problem, Emily, I said, shaking my head. This wasn't a mistake. This was who you are. and I'd rather set myself on fire than spend another second pretending otherwise. Silence stretched between us, heavy and suffocating. Then, finally, she grabbed the bag and zipped it up. "You'll regret this," she said, her voice flat. I let out a breath. "No, Emily. I regret ever loving you." She flinched, but she didn't argue. She just slung the bag over her shoulder and made her way toward the door. Before she stepped out, she turned back one last time. "You think this is the end?" she asked, her lips curling into a faint smirk. "You have no idea what's coming." I held her gaze, unshaken. "Neither do you." She hesitated, as if trying to figure out what I meant. But I wasn't about to give her any more power. I simply nodded toward the door. She scoffed, rolled her eyes, and walked out. The second the door closed behind her, a weight lifted from my chest. For the first time in years, I could breathe. But deep down, I knew this wasn't over. Not yet. Emily wasn't the type to leave quietly. And I had a feeling the real fight was just beginning. The silence in the house was deafening. Emily was gone, but her presence still lingered like a stench that refused to fade. I stood there for a long moment, staring at the door she had just walked out of, my heart still hammering in my chest. I should have felt relieved, victorious. But I knew better. Emily wasn't the type to accept defeat. She was calculating, manipulative, and dangerous when cornered. She left, but not because she was truly broken. No, that smirk she gave me before stepping out, that was a warning. She was planning something, and I needed to be ready. I grabbed my phone and called Ethan again. He picked up on the first ring. "She's out," I said without greeting. He let out a relieved sigh. "Good, but don't think for a second that this is over. I know my sister, Jake. She's already plotting her next move." I exhaled sharply, running a hand through my hair. "Yeah, I got that feeling too. What do you think she'll do?" There was a pause before Ethan spoke again. "If I had to guess, she's going to come after you legally. Try to take as much as she can. She'll play dirty, lie through her teeth if she has to." I clenched my jaw. "Not happening." Ethan's voice hardened. "Then you need to get ahead of this. First thing tomorrow, I'll have my firm draft up divorce papers, ones that ensure she gets nothing. I need every single piece of evidence you have against her. The videos, the bank transfers, the messages. The stronger we build this case, the faster we can shut her down." I didn't hesitate. "I'll send everything now." "Good," Ethan said. "And one more thing. Change your locks tonight." I frowned. "You really think she'd come back?" Ethan scoffed. "Jake, Emily doesn't know how to lose. If she realizes she can't beat you in court, she might try other methods. Maybe she comes back crying, begging. Or maybe she tries to wreck the place out of spite. Either way, don't give her an opening." A bitter chuckle escaped me. "I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Never underestimate a woman like her," Ethan warned. "I'll take care of the legal side, but you need to make sure she has no way of crawling back into your life." I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. "I hear you. Thanks, man." "Don't thank me yet," he muttered. "This isn't over." The call ended, and I immediately took his advice. I called a locksmith and paid extra for an emergency visit. Within an hour, the locks were changed, and the house felt a little more like mine again. But I still couldn't shake the feeling that Emily wasn't done. And I was right. The first sign of trouble came the next morning. I woke up to dozens of missed calls from unknown numbers and a flood of messages in my inbox. My stomach twisted as I opened one. "I can't believe what you did to Emily. You're a monster." Another one. "Wow, bro. Cheating on your wife and throwing her out? You're trash." My blood ran cold. What the hell was this? I scrolled through the messages, heart pounding, trying to make sense of it. And then I saw her post. Emily had gone to social media. She posted a picture of herself, fake tears in her eyes, talking about how she had been abandoned and betrayed. She twisted the entire story, painting herself as the victim and me as the villain. According to her, I was the one who had cheated. I was the one who drained our account and left her with nothing. She made it sound like I had emotionally abused her for years, controlling her, isolating her. And the worst part? People were believing her. Her friends, the same ones who probably knew about her affairs, were now coming to her defense, spreading the lies like wildfire. Some of them even tagged my workplace, trying to get me fired. She wasn't coming after me in the courtroom. She was coming after me in public opinion. A slow, burning rage built inside me. This was her new game. If she couldn't take my money, she'd take my reputation. She'd destroy my name. But she had made a huge mistake. She underestimated me. She thought I'd roll over and let her win, let her play the victim while I took the fall. Not this time. I grabbed my phone and called Ethan. The second he answered, I didn't even let him speak. She went public, I said, my voice cold as steel. She's telling everyone that I cheated, that I abandoned her. Ethan cursed under his breath. I told you she wouldn't go down without a fight. But don't worry. This just makes things easier for us. I frowned. How? Because she just opened the door for us to expose everything. She put this out there for the world to see, which means we can hit back just as hard. I clenched my jaw. You're saying we go public too? Exactly, Ethan said. We bury her in the truth. Every single video, every message, every transfer, we leak it all. I hesitated for a moment. I wasn't the kind of guy who aired dirty laundry online. I never wanted things to get this messy. But then I remembered her smirk when she left. I remembered how she laughed when I caught her. I remembered every single moment she looked me in the eyes and lied. She started this war, and I was going to finish it. I exhaled, my decision made. Do it. Expose everything. Ethan didn't even hesitate. Consider it done. I hung up and leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. Emily thought she could destroy me. She had no idea that she had just sealed her own fate. Emily thought she had me cornered. She thought by twisting the truth, by playing the victim, she could turn everyone against me and walk away without consequences. She was wrong. I wasn't just going to defend myself. I was going to bury her. Ethan wasted no time. Within hours, he had everything compiled and ready to go, a full package of undeniable proof. Every screenshot, every bank transaction, and most importantly, the videos. We didn't just expose her lies. We obliterated them. Ethan uploaded a well-crafted post on his legal blog, detailing the real story, without even mentioning Emily's name. He was smart. He framed it as a lesson about deception, betrayal, and legal consequences. But the Real bomb dropped when I sent the evidence directly to the people Emily had lied to. Her friends, her family, even her boss. The backlash was instant. Messages flooded in, but this time they were different. Holy sh*t dude, I had no idea. I'm so sorry I believed her. Wow, she's disgusting. I can't believe she tried to ruin you. Bro, she's finished. Everyone knows the truth now. And then, the real kicker, Emily called me. I let it ring. She called again. And again. Voicemail, every time. Finally, a text popped up. Emily, Jake, please. We need to talk. I stared at the message for a long moment. A part of me wanted to ignore it, let her sit in the mess she created. But another part of me? I wanted to see her break. So I called her back. She answered instantly. Jake, she breathed, her voice shaky. I don't even know what to say. I leaned back in my chair, keeping my voice calm. Try the truth for once. Silence. Then she sniffled. I messed up. I know I did. But do you really hate me this much? I let out a humorless laugh. Hate you? Emily, I don't even care enough to hate you. I just wanted the world to see you for who you really are. She let out a shaky breath. Everyone turned on me. My friends, my family, even my job. They put me on leave. I smirked. Good. I have nothing now, Jake, she continued, her voice cracking. Please, just can we talk? Face to face. I sighed. Emily, you don't get it, do you? You already did everything you could to destroy me. You didn't care about talking when you were spreading lies, trying to ruin my life. You only care now because you lost. She was silent. And then, for the first time, I heard something I hadn't heard in years. Defeat. So that's it, she whispered. You're just done with me? I shook my head. I was done with you the second I opened that laptop. She let out a slow breath. I never thought it would end like this. I smiled. Neither did I. But I guess that's what happens when you gamble everything and lose. She didn't reply. For the first time, she had nothing left to say. I let the silence stretch before delivering my final words. Goodbye, Emily. And then I hung up. I stared at the phone for a long moment, taking it all in, The weight that had been crushing me for weeks, months, years was finally gone. I was free. Emily was nothing more than a lesson now, a brutal, painful reminder of what happens when you ignore the warning signs, when you trust the wrong person. But I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't bitter. I was just done. And for the first time in a long time, I was ready to move on.